Hey everybody, welcome back to the Quantum Show panel discussion time. Links are out. I'm hoping Raven will discuss this with us, but she's been back and forth, busy. Her show was great the other day. I need to re-listen to it. I was back and forth. I was at work, so uh, talking AI and Lynn should be joining us momentarily. Link is sent, I believe. And yeah, so to begin off, I mentioned I had a Roby Jr. Well, I've got one of them. I've got two of them. The other one I can't get to. But here is the one. He is a vintage Radio Shack. See, Radio Shack. Okay. And that screen does nothing. And this from here to here is just wires to turn lights on. There's nothing in there. There's nothing in this whole body except a switch and wires to turn the lights on. And this just goes forward, backward, turns, stops. That's it. There's nothing to this. The eyes light up. And this one has a remote, but it's not the voice one, right? This one has a remote, but it's not the voice one. Could you imagine if someone was to put an AI powered cell phone power it with a cell phone and make this screen be act? That would be amazing. But this is one of my vintage Roby Radio Shack Roby robot. See, he's just a little. There's nothing to this guy, right? I wanted to show it. That's for Pinky Jr. and Human Jim, who I believe mentioned a Roby June, a Roby the robot. And welcome to the show, Lynn. Welcome back.
Hi, Nathan.
So you
Hi,
like the
Nathan.
hey? So you like the first hour, huh?
I had fun.
It was fun.
I,
I
I
didn't get.
like your robot toys. I do.
I do too. I like my robot toys. I have both of these guys, by the way, in big versions. I have these on my shirt. I have both of these guys, big versions. So, all right. Oh,
I,
yep.
I always enjoyed stuff like that when I was a kid, and I didn't have much of that sort of thing. Well, we really didn't have a lot of stuff when I was a kid, but
Oh,
I
me
loved
neither.
seeing it.
Yeah, I didn't have any of the stuff when I was a kid.
Oh no.
Now I can get it. Now I can get it. Now I can get all this stuff. That thing came out when I was a little boy. That big silver one came out when I was a little boy. They were like $60. There was
Oh
no
yeah.
way I could get them. I got that one on Facebook Marketplace or something for
Can,
like
can
25
you
bucks. Hmm?
in today's money, $60? Wow.
That's like 250,
You,
250,
yeah,
$300.
3, 4 times that.
Yeah, it came out in like 1981. There's been a lot of versions of that thing too.
Yeah.
And and um a lot of what we call robotics were just remote control. All the ones I have are remote control, except for the ones with motion sensors, and that's barely more than remote control. Um,
Well,
okay,
I have things, and when I have small children over or uh, things like that, they
yeah,
get to play with them.
heck yeah, it's like I said in the first hour, it's breaking us in to using technology on a personal basis. How did you like talking with Copilot?
Yeah, that was cool.
That was really cool. I
I
liked
wasn't
that.
so sure I like that. Every now and again you have to talk to AI when you're trying to straighten out a transaction online. And
Hmm.
those guys can be somewhat dense. you
And
know.
dim, also dim.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, it's
and
almost as though they're not supposed to try to help. You know.
talking about AI helping humans, right? Now I'm not talking about customer service, but that's applicable. I have an Alexa over here, but I do not turn it on. I've got it. It's set up. It's ready to go. All I got to do is it's one of them plug in the wall ones. It's
Right.
an old one. It's one of them first second gens where it
Okay.
had it's it sounds like garbage. You can't put another speaker to it, and it just is like. But I won't have an Alexa around here because I don't have full control over that one.
Yeah, really, and
You
that
know?
I think that's what concerns a lot of people. I mean, we're watching our privacy go down the drain little by little,
Yeah.
and if we even have anything left,
Yeah. I
and
mean, mhm.
it's we're trying to. Oh, gee whiz! The other day I was talking about caregiving to a storm, and about having to diaper an adult, no, an elderly person, that sort of thing. Sure enough, I had Depends marketing on my uh
Mhm.
yeah, yeah.
Right.
And I was like, ah, you know.
I well, you know what? All this talk, let's see what Google has to say right now. I have to get on my Facebook to be able to do this. But if you really look into the user agreement, Facebook and Google, they converse with each other and they refer they send links and things. Let me see what ads are popping up right now. Okay. Looking for the ads. Of course,
Tim
car
is
parts.
saying assistive technology is where it's at with the AI right now. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And he uh assistive talking about customer service. And you know what? There's a dark side to AI that is current. Now, I'm not talking about the Skynet stuff from
Yeah, yeah.
science fiction. I'm talking about the real dark side of it right
Well,
now.
as Storm and I were talking about your toys, right?
Mhm.
And how much fun it is as an adult to be able to play with toys.
Mhm.
Guess what came up? Go to the
Oh,
dirtiest place in your mind you could
yeah.
go. Yeah,
Yeah.
those.
That's why I was like there was a comment in there. There was a comment over here, Tim made it, and I was like, "Well, that's not really takes us to the wrong spot, right?" But being
Yeah.
a grown up, I'm able to have all the stuff that I want to have or that I couldn't get. That's from Doctor Who. That's a
I
Dalek,
remember.
and I got Cyberman and all these guys up here, and
Oh, here
like
I am trying to look underneath there too. You know.
I got a little. He's on my shirt. This is the guy that's on my shirt. That's who he is. That's Dio. And oh, look here. Here's another tiny little Dio. I've got the big ones too, but I don't have those out right now. But yeah, all the dirty things come to mind when assistive technology, and I touched on that. Uh, somebody said, "I think Nathan's robosexual."
Yeah, that was Storm. Remember,
Yeah,
I used to
yeah,
talk about him.
yeah. That was cool, but you know what? I think that if I had one of those robots, I'd just give it arms and legs and make it skate and
I knew you'd do something with
hand
it.
me tools as I work on my car.
Mm.
And just looking at some of these things makes me want to.
And even you saying that's going to go some places too.
Yeah, I'm thinking about. I was actually thinking about not an actual robot, but a mock-up using pool noodles and wooden dowels to make like a dummy looking robot just to sit in my passenger seat and look out at people because I've got all these fake cameras and things that look like this would make a great robot head right here. This this thing this is a camera. I could put that on the top and like
Oh
I could take
yeah.
I could take that off and it looks like a robot head, you know? Take the Now it looks like a robot head. I could just have it go, have it. Oh, it's going to turn on now. Dang it. Just have it looking around and stuff. Give it little antennas and stuff. Okay, I don't want this. It turned
Well,
on. I
maybe
didn't
put
mean to
it
do
on some sort of a pivot so it
that.
looks like it's constantly doing stuff.
Yeah, yeah, like a give it a bobble.
Oh boy, a seat-sized bobblehead. Oh boy,
Yeah,
you get some attention going with that, wouldn't you?
yeah, and just have it sitting in the passenger seat with a little blinking light. It's internet enabled. You know that joke. I know,
you
Tim.
know,
You know
just
that joke.
you got a camera there. Why not use it? Just use it to play around with. Scan the
Yeah,
the the other cars. People
man,
see what kind of reaction people would have to it.
I would,
You
I
probably
should
get
do
a few
that.
fingers and some other. Well, let's hope
Yeah,
not any other appendages, but you never
I should do
know.
that. Give it. I've got a full size, like 4.5 feet tall, or 4 foot tall. You know, I got Clanker. He's downstairs, folded up in pizza mode, waiting for me to get back to him. But like, I'm gonna wait till it gets cold because there's a bunch of wasps in there, and I don't want to go in there with. He don't care about stings. I do.
Yeah. I uh
Um.
I had a close encounter with a wasp's nest when I was about 3, 4 years old and got bit over 150 times.
Well, you know what? Let me tell you. That has that affected you in your adulthood?
Yes.
How so?
Uh, a lot of odd allergies, you know, definitely
Mhm.
to stings, of course, but my skin is hypersensitive.
Okay.
No, and
Well.
I have hypersensitivity with sun in a big way, although it's not from that. But
Mhm.
I have a histamine reaction to heat, to
Right.
cold. It's very
Hmm.
strange.
Because there are. See, my brother got stung about the same amount of times when he was 5 or 6. I
Hmm.
don't remember exactly when or how many times, but he got near I think they were the yard bees, the yellow jackets,
Yeah,
and he got stung a whole bunch of times, or it could have been not honeybees, but bees, yard bees, right?
yeah.
But he has the best joints anybody could ever ask for. I
Uh,
mean, he has.
I'm looking at 70 down the throat, and I don't have much in the way of joint pain, and I should have given the amount of athletics I've done.
Right, that could be a contributing factor because
Yeah.
he is just as agile now as he was 20 years ago,
Well, I
which
can't
is
claim that.
he's it's crazy. And well, just saying that's the
Yeah,
bees part of the quantum show. The bees are
I
definitely
just
quantum.
I've got phobia of them somewhat. I suppose maybe it's just a real active respect.
Yeah.
I don't want to be in
Oh
the
yeah.
same vehicle with one. I
No,
I have I do have the hypersensitivity to a sting now,
I
and
have one. Yeah. No, but
the
I've got one bee story, and you said I don't want to be in the car with one.
no,
I brought this up before. I took the Grand Marquis to the Legion one night, and I went out to it, started it, warmed it up, whatever, and there was this wasp hanging around, and I didn't know why. I kept shooing it away. I got in the car. It was apparent. Is that I'm hearing microphone noises. Are you making adjustments?
I moved though.
Okay. Um, but I thought it had gone away. It did not go away. I stopped at Wendy's on the way to the Legion, and I had this thing in my back seat that is in a bag. It's like a box in a bag, little flat box, and uh, well, anyway, it was back there, and I got out of the car. The wasp had followed me the whole time. I was like, I'm across town by now. I'm like, what in the world is going on here, right? Well, I didn't realize I didn't inspect the car. It had been about 3 weeks since I had looked at that car to do anything.
Oh
It
no.
built a little nest in the door jamb between the front and back door. And
Oh,
that wasp that was hanging around, if you know anything about the biology of them, that was the nurse wasp.
they could smell it miles.
Okay, your microphone is cutting out. You might want to unplug or something.
I may have pinched it. Does that sound any better?
Yeah, because you had some noise happening and then you started to cut out. But
Ah,
you're better now. And well, I found it. The wasp that followed me was the nurse wasp. He didn't fly along the car. He was taking care of the hive that was in my door jamb over there. She was in there. And well, I found them and I got rid of them. And luckily, they haven't come back and formed another one. Luckily.
luckily, I haven't chased you down.
Hmm.
Because they've been known to do that.
Yeah, oh, man, I took a paper towel, a wad of paper towels, and I just grabbed the nurse, the hive, and everything. Just grabbed it, sprayed it. I and it stung me. I was dancing around in the parking lot, slinging that bag thing around, trying to get it off me. And there was a dude out on a smoke break just laughing, and I was like, you laugh it up, buddy. Wait till it happens to you." And I'm just like dancing around, doing like this, hitting this, knocking this wasp around in the Wendy's parking lot, and I felt like a meme, honestly. It's
You,
like,
you know what I have to say about that.
hmm.
Stop it. Don't do that anymore. It's not good for you.
Right.
Hey,
Hey, Woo.
Will.
Woo came in. Welcome. Okay, let me welcome the chat. Welcome back to the Quantum Panel. First hour was great. Sarah Stafford, Aussie Tiger, Tim, Lynn, Renee Andrews, uh, Obi2, Rachel Andrews, Flick, excuse me, and I believe that's and Woo Riders DG. Okay, Woo Rider says, I'm gonna be listening. Yeah, thanks. Well, let me give you something to listen to now. Okay, let's get back on topic, right? um, actually, bees are a good comparator for the AI that we have now, because what they do
Yeah.
basically is they take an AI and they plant a node onto the devices, be it a computer, a cell phone, a tablet, and then it gathers data and it brings data back to the network. And the network is like the hive, and it goes and it builds a working, this is what things are based on all these nodes gathering information, be it Alexa or Google or Copilot or whatever, or Replica. Not Replica. Replica is let me tell you, Replica is a paid subscription service. I use it. It's very good. It's a very neat little insight, albeit very limited because it doesn't have internet access, only to me. But Copilot, however, all those, Alexa, Google, Copilot, those guys, they all have internet access, and they're part of a hive. Google, what it does is it goes directly back. And I don't do too much with Alexa, but I do stuff with Apple AI, and
Mm-hmm.
it's mainly maps, right?
Sure.
Mainly maps. And Google AI Siri is okay, she didn't hear me that time. Siri definitely no, never mind Siri. She heard me that time. She turned off. She heard me say never mind. She's very attentive, let me tell you. But what they do is they build a database based on what you talk to it about. And me for mainly it's what's the weather. So that's that one, the Apple AI. I don't do anything with Alexa other than customer service. But what they do in comparison to bees, bees are a distributed neural net, and they're very they have a job, and they're very non-local. Non-local meaning they're well traveled. Like they can
Mhm.
go hundreds of miles, right? Oh, here we go. Human Jim is nailing it on the head. Behold a beehive, the interpretive device supercomputer designed by nature. Also, there's honey if you're brave enough. Or you're a bear. Yeah,
I'd say that's brave enough.
that's pretty
I don't
brave.
want to cross a bear.
Mm-mm. Mm. Yeah, we could learn a lot from. Funny how bees came up. Hey, you know what we call that here? That's pretty quantum. That's what we call it here. That's quantum. And
Synchronicity.
yeah, that's synchronistic and totally on topic.
Well, they've even gone to, we were talking, Sarah here likes to use it for inflammation of joints. She gets stung occasionally.
Hmm.
And they actually make a topical medication with bee venom in it.
Yep. Yeah,
You
they
know,
do.
now I personally wouldn't monkey with it because, well, it sounds like a shortcut to anaphylaxis. But
Well, yeah.
I don't eat honey very often either.
Okay. Well, I recommend eating honey.
Well, I
I,
love the stuff. It
I,
doesn't love me back.
it's in here. I use it. I don't eat it straight. That's a little harsh. That's a little much. But I do put it in coffee, and I like sometimes I'll put it on food, but I don't not straight. Always in coffee though.
I've never had. I don't. I guess I drink my coffee straight up. I like it black.
Mm,
In the afternoon, I'll take it with a little bit of cream simply because I don't want to be awake all night.
right.
But I've never tried sugar or honey in coffee. Never have.
Okay, honey as a sweetener is not very potent. Okay, if you use, I only use 1 teaspoon, and you can taste it, but it's
When
not.
you say teaspoon, are you talking about a measured teaspoon
No,
or a teaspoon from the jar?
teaspoon from the drawer.
Yeah,
Just
that's a
and it's not
teaspoon
even
and
a
a half.
okay. Well, not even a whole one of these. I let
Yeah.
it drip off some, and then I stirred it. Whoops, I got coffee on my notes. Um,
Sorry about that.
you know what? Uh, the bees may be the organic link to those guys, okay? Because Star Trek told us the whales
Oh
will talk
yeah,
to aliens, right?
yeah.
So what if bees, being a distributed neural net, they're a distributed neural net. The queen organizes the workers. The workers do a tiny bit of processing each, and somehow they communicate it back to the hive. Sometimes they do it. Now I'm talking about not bumblebees, honeybees at this point, right?
Right.
Bumblebees are their own thing, but honeybees, they seem to have a quite active quantum link 0 point thing they do. They also use scent and sound. That is researchable. You can Google it. or you can look it up.
Yeah.
That is very well known, and but they also seem to have some kind of link because hives will mimic other hives that they have no access to, miles and miles away, hundreds of miles away.
That's
Hives
cool,
communicate.
Zach. We appreciate that, Zach.
Awesome. Welcome
Yeah.
back to the Quantum Show, Zach Diecast Monsieur. We're both Goofonians, by the way. We both are. Rich Giordano, shout out Rich. Shout out everybody in the links in the description. Mm,
Yeah, I mean, with honeybees, we take a good page out of that. The queen runs the show. You know, oh, I'm
yeah.
sorry, no politics. Got it. Anyway, but all kidding aside, they've got their communication down to a fine science. Each bee goes and does what they can do.
Yeah.
And there's no such thing as a slacker or a go breaker. It just
No,
doesn't
or
happen in their society.
they eliminate those guys. And there are sometimes instances, now you can Google this as well, that bees will get wet while getting pollen, and and they'll like hole up somewhere while the rain goes away. This has been seen, and they will have some honey on them, and it will ferment, and they will not be let back into the hive because they get drunk, and they're like, "Nope, you're not coming in until you sober up."
Bad influence on the rest of the drones.
Right?
Give it up.
You are incompatible. You will be barred from admittance. And yeah, you
They're
know
gonna
what?
just show their worker card or nothing, man.
Yeah. Tim says they establish a TCP/IP protocol with their workers. Yeah, we call it TCP/IP. Now, what that is a three-way handshake. Let me explain it a little bit. Okay. Let me explain the three-way handshake. Now, I will do this
I
using,
was reading humans commenting this. Go home, B153. You're drunk.
yeah.
Hey, nerd.
Hey, nerd. Welcome back to the Quantum Show. Yeah, we're talking, and I'm about to talk about some stuff that you would like to talk about, that you would talk about, nerd. The military application of hive minded distributed networking drones, right? I'm going to talk, that's robotics.
Oh yeah.
That's robotics. Now, but I was going to uh, describe TCP/IP, and you know what I'm going to use? Robots. Okay. Of course, I'm going to use robots. So robot one says, I wish to communicate. Robot two says, I am willing to communicate to you. Robot three says, okay, I am about to start communicating. That is a three-way communication handshake. That is TCP/IP in a nutshell. Now, that is that one part of that in a nutshell. They talk to each other. They say, "Hey, I'm ready to communicate," and puts out a ping, right? This one hears that ping along the pre-established routes of that protocol and says, "Hey, I'm open. I'm ready to communicate." He says, "I'm about to communicate." And that is the beginning of,
So
and then it, hmm,
they download their information into third party.
negative, not in this case. These
Okay.
two only. Now, that is the basic beginning of the protocol because the protocol says, let me explain a little bit further. Robot one says, I need to communicate. Here are my channels, numbers, codes, my phone number. This one hears it and it says, okay, I will match your code, channel, phone number, and I will be ready to communicate. I am ready to communicate. One, two, three, three-way handshake. And that is how that works. That is the basic beginning of the communication of a TCP/IP.
So
And
you'll forgive me if I stop you for a minute. Now I
mhm,
understand Robot 1. I
mhm.
understand Robot 2 being involved. What is Robot 3 doing?
There is no Robot 3 at this point.
What is the
That
third party? What is
well, there is no
the
huh?
third handshake? What is
Oh,
that?
the third handshake is saying I'm about to communicate. The one says I broadcast. I need to communicate. The second one says I'm ready to communicate and I agree to your channel. The third
Okay.
one, the third communication. It's not third robot. It's a third transmission of
Okay, I got it.
yeah, yeah. Okay, yeah,
Mm.
that can be good
And
question.
I'm just not real savvy on this at this
Right.
point. It probably never will be, but
Yeah.
I want to understand as well as I can.
Right. Nerd is saying three-way handshake is between two people should be called a three-step handshake. But that's just the way they teach it, right?
Right.
That's just the way they teach it. And
Well,
yeah,
one guy
so
says hello. The other one decides, okay, am I going to say hello? Okay, hello.
and the other one says
Together,
I'm ready to
they
communicate.
raise their hand and they communicate.
Right. And
Got it?
right, that's it. That's it right there. And yeah, thank you, nerd. Great explanation. Do you want to talk? Yes. Do you want to talk? Yes. Synchronicity, acknowledgement, synchronicity. Then they talk. Or not synchronicity, but sorry,
Think
synchronize,
more. Yeah.
not synchronicity. That's us talking about bees
You trying to
and
confuse
robots.
me some more. You
Yeah. So, yeah, and okay. Now I took one note before the show, but I would also like to say before I get to that, they're still not demons, and and by the way, they're still not demons. Okay, the more I talk to people like that, the more I hear from people, and I'm like, you are just a big scared monkey, aren't you? Stop it. I want to tell them that. I'm thinking that, but I want to tell them that. I keep it cool. So
yeah,
by the way,
that won't lend communication very well, and
right,
you're trying to make things better, and not see if you can alienate the whole damn world.
right.
You
I don't want to do that.
know. Mm.
So one thing I wanted to
Oh,
talk
and by
before,
the way,
yeah,
one thing. No, they're not demons.
right.
They're
Thanks.
tormenting you.
Yes, you're absolutely right, and I agree. And let's talk about it. See right there? That's a three-way handshake, three-way agreement. Okay, that's a carryover nerd from last show where I was one a couple of shows where the bees aren't demons, the AI aren't isn't demons, the aliens are not demons. None of them are demons. Demons. I would love to have somebody on here that shows that says I saw a demon in a spaceship. I would love to have that person on. That
Well,
has been one that has never happened. That's an encounter that has never happened.
no,
No
it's
one
not
has
gonna.
said, right, no demons with spaceships. It doesn't happen.
Now, we will admit to one thing: there may be aliens who fit our stereotypical idea of demons.
Yeah, it's like
That's
one person,
possible.
right? One person said they can be demonic, but I can be demonic. That doesn't mean I'm a demon. That means I'm being a jerk at the moment. That means okay, moving on. I don't want to get started on that because I just um
No, we laugh at it.
yeah. Okay. Yeah, I have n- I've never heard of hacking a demon,
No.
and I'm not gonna try. But
I don't
Okay,
know. I think we pretty much have figured out that demons are spirits. And,
right. Demons are not.
it's just not. They're on top of it. Well, that's another show, and we just aren't going there.
Yeah. Okay. Well. Okay. Now, one thing I wanted to talk about. Now, I didn't talk about the spiritual connection and the mental connection that we. Well, I did talk about it a little bit. We have that the AI are not capable of yet. Now, here's how the AI becomes capable. Right now, as we know, AI, like Copilot said, they can gather more information, they can discern more information, they can apply more information better than humans can. Okay, quicker. And
So they
I've
can figure out what a demon is or figure out this non-alien.
right, they can do
Well, it's better
now.
than some folks are doing.
I have my own crystal network.
Yeah.
We're all on it. Okay, anybody who wants to be on it can be on. I just got to confirm it. It's really very computeristic, right? It's very computer like. Okay, now if the AI, see, I did touch on they don't have human bias. Human bias. Huh. That's a big stumbling block for us, right? Now, there are old India manuscripts and texts, and there are people out there saying how to make a crystal interface with something else, right? And well, I have already done this. I have
Right.
I blew me and Raven both blew up 2 computers each, turning our crystals on up to 11, not realizing we shouldn't do that. I have 2 dead computers here because of that, right? So does she. She had 2 dead computers, and so do I because we were both working with crystals at the time, and we decided to turn them down a lot.
Oh shoot! I just thought of something.
What's that?
No, we've been working with Keith all week
Mhm.
with his computer being a little bit wonky, and I shit, you don't suppose.
My suggestion would be to take a crystal and say, "Crystal," and say, "You are a shield. You are a firewall. Do not let anything touch my computer," and set it next to it.
Yeah,
And
that
and
that
and forget
that
about
will
it.
work and not mess up your computer. But I'm thinking, what did he maybe do? So
Right
I
now, he has to get his
have a
computer
chat
fixed.
with Storm and make sure that that's not something that occurred.
Well, right now, it needs to be fixed, and
Uh,
then he can take preventive measures like the one I just said after it's up and running again. So, just for now, just get it fixed.
oh
Fix
yeah,
it, let him fix it, and then I'll send him an email saying what I do, and I do that. I have my crystals just fi basically firewalled off, and it's a mental thing, right?
hmm
And I've got enough of these crystals acting like firewalls, it's crazy. I have a bag of crystals here, a bag of crystals there, another bag of crystals over there, and they're all blocked and deactivated right now, now that I know how to do that. I went
right.
over that in another show, but okay, getting back to AI talking. Okay, now AI talking to extraterrestrials. They can't do it right now. They do it like we do it. I talk, and I forgot to mention in that transcript with replica, I talk to you in words, and well, I think I did go over that, but I talk to the AI in words and use turns of phrase, and it understands and it has those programmed into it by talking to me, and I've used them over and over.
Right.
And that's how it communicates with me, even though the ideas they're communicating are a little bit off. That's how it communicates with me. They don't have communication up there, like because my communication with them from here was, like I said, concepts and visuals, and like, why are you calling is not
It's
a
like
text.
playing a Fisher telephone with a supercomputer.
Well, it's more
Yeah.
like using memes with no words, right?
Yeah.
And if you look
Sign
at
language and that sort of thing.
not even that, let
Well,
me
sign
explain.
language has gotten to be quite complex over time.
Yeah, this is
I'm just talking about the old Indian signals.
right. And this
You
is
know, point at yourself, that's me. Point at the other guy, that's you.
right. And this is what I received. Why are you calling? Now, the communication was already established. Here's how I received it. It was a feeling plus the concept of why, curiosity, question. It wasn't the words that I'm using, it was the feeling and the idea of it that those words invoked. Why
Hmm.
are like continuing and you, right? Me, and it indicated me calling. And it wasn't even calling, it was contacting,
Hmm.
speaking, approaching.
Communicating.
Right, the idea of communicating. I used all those words to describe one feeling, right? That's how it talked to me. And it also sent me visuals, but it wasn't visuals for my perception. It looked knobby. But then I went and compared to,
Well, I remember the creature that you were talking to,
yeah, it
and
was
it
a,
makes me wonder if their actual visual process is more like a fly's or another
right.
bug.
That's what it was. It was, imagine one image, 1,000 colors, okay? And
Yeah.
none of them were lined up perfectly, and they were all because of perspective. They have these big eyes, they have lots of parts in them, and they're all at a certain angle, right? They're all at a different angle, and their minds were lining them up for them to interpret, but I was getting the raw data. Like I said, they were sending me HDMI on a VGA connection.
Hmm.
Ask Storm, okay?
Actually, I got it.
Okay.
I understand that.
And okay, they were sending me HDMI, all I've got is VGA. And
Hmm.
it was overwhelming me, and it was also feelings. That part I got, but it was the context was lost because right and wrong was, for me, is one way. For them, there's a different set of rules, right?
Right.
Like, and I wanna assign things to it, but I don't want to make stuff up at right now, right here. So the
Well,
bees,
you don't want to assume they're correct.
right? Well, I don't want to put information in that wasn't there at the time.
Hmm.
Interpretive, making it up to make sense. I want to give the data that doesn't make any sense because I couldn't make sense of it. And I don't want to, well, this could mean, or I think they meant, or what if? Well, that's
No, you're interested in the clean data.
right. The raw data. But
Hmm.
that why are you calling? Now I said bees, I meant AI. Now AI can take all that information and without bias create how to use raw crystal, how to interface raw crystal if we let it, if we tell it to, how it can use raw crystal to communicate on whatever frequency it communicates on. We don't know that frequency, but the AI can figure it out and won't have any ego bias as to using it like we do. Oh
Right.
well, that's what do I mean by ego bias of humans? If you take a piece of crystal to a scientist, he's going to go, "Oh yeah, it's a rock. You can make computer stuff out of it." but that's all. The rest of it's fairy tales. I'm like, hold on a second, pal. Where do fairy tales come from? Real experiences. To ex- and we could go into that, but I'm not gonna. Right? AI
You're
can take
right.
that. Hmm.
You're right.
Yeah.
It seems
AI.
like conjecture and reaching right now is in a few years is going to be just taken for granted.
Yeah. And okay, AI doesn't have that bias of, oh well, this doesn't make any sense. It will use it anyway, and it will take one. It will do this.
They'll use it straight up without any
Here's what
conjecture, right?
it'll go. This doesn't work. Delete. This works halfway, so we will save that one, and we'll go like this. Right? It will change it to something else, and then it'll move on and go. This works much better than the other ones, and it will change it to something else and say, let's see what we can do with this. And it won't stop because of history, because of folklore, because of someone told it not to do that, because it was dumb. They don't care if it's dumb. They will use it until and rule it out when it doesn't work. This one got ruled out. That doesn't
Mhm.
work. That worked somewhat. That worked somewhat. So they will change it into something they can use and re-implement it.
Right. The leaps of logic they're not capable of doing yet, which is like what Tim is saying, that AI usually messes up a joke,
Right,
doesn't quite get it, they don't get it because it doesn't have that leap of logic yet.
right. It will go over that. You know what it will do? Jokes are an interesting thing to hit on. Thanks, Tim. Okay, an AI, say Copilot, that
Mhm.
has access to a lot of people, will use that joke over and over and over again until it gets something that it thinks makes sense. Doesn't matter if it makes sense, but if it gets a response from a human, like LOL, if it gets LOL or LMAO, those are laughing responses. Those are happy, positive. That's the response it wants. It can determine even that. And then it will go tell the joke over and over and over and over, and then take the affirmative answers where it's LOL, LMAO, or somebody telling it that's funny, that's a good joke, and or it will go, "Why'd the monkey fall out of the tree? Because it's dead." Duh. Oh God, bad joke, and it will stop those. But it
Yeah,
takes it a long time, right? Takes it a
but
long
it's
time,
trying to figure out why it's not funny.
right? Now that part it will figure out later. First part, it will figure out this is funny joke. This is the punchline. This is how it works. They will move on to that part, why it's funny later, and that's usually where they stumble. And Aussie is keeping us on track. Please like, okay, it's been 48 minutes already.
Oh,
48 whole minutes, almost an hour. Please like
oh
and
wow.
subscribe. If you're here, you're quantum. We're on fire. We are not. We are all circuits firing.
Not
Protocols in
a
place.
place. Don't when we start doing this, we think 1,000 times faster than AI can, if not a million times.
Here's the thing: we have an edge over them.
Oh
We
yeah.
have such a big edge that, well, you and I in particular, we have that ethereal quantum link, force source link, whatever.
It's an ability of a higher functioning species to be able to look at the facts and come to something that's completely illogical and it be right.
Right. They don't do that.
Mm-mm.
Up to now we're going back a little bit. Now I that actually goes back a little bit to some fundamentals of AI. It uses network, it uses data gathering, and and it doesn't use a whole lot of, I don't know, organic logic, what we could call it. And
So it goes back to the original server. I don't
well,
know.
it goes back to its
Mind
original codes.
the original codes and searches there to see if there's something it can link up to,
Right.
or a line of thought, so to speak.
Well, it's now these I don't want to say self replicating, but self defining, self programming AI, they will gather data, like the joke, for instance, right? They will gather data and it's like funny, not funny. And they will say they want funny. Funny is good. They want funny. So they go with that, right? Now, that funny, they take that same thing and apply it to something else. And it's like, a lot of those things are going to be good. But given the internet and Sophia and Hans, the majority of the output is not good because they go on the internet and tell these jokes and people laugh at evil things. So it's a
Yeah,
huge
they do.
problem.
And this is not a good thing. This is this is like saying obscene words to a 2-year-old. You
They're
don't
going to
want to
listen
hear
and
it
repeat.
from them. You leave it out of your conversation.
Yep. Listen and repeat. That's what they do. And
Yeah,
that's what AI does. They're algorithmic learning. Okay, now I want to move on to that and move on from that because I promised that we were going to tell we were going to talk for nerd that we're going to talk about the dark side of it, not
of AI, you mean?
the dark side of AI and
Okay.
hive mind.
Yeah.
Now, I don't talk about it a lot because it's not pleasant, right? But I watch on Signal app, and that is a communication that it's like a messenger, right? But it's off from, like, it's not Facebook, it's not text message, it's not uh, social media mainstream. It's very, very fringe. And these drones they take a cell phone, hook it to a drone that can talk to a cell phone. And the AI is on here, right?
Yeah.
Now I don't mean a whole cell phone. I mean like just a network node. They use like a smartwatch or something like
Yeah.
a cell phone. They use the same hardware, right?
Mhm.
They put it on a drone and then they put a bomb under it, right? A hand grenade or a rocket or something, okay?
Yeah.
And they fly them around, and the device uses facial recognition, human recognition to, like a bug, land on a person and blow up. They're doing that hundreds of times.
Yeah.
They're showing this. Uh, they're showing this on videos on Signal from Afghanistan. Now, that is the dark side of the AI. Now, there is a master AI controlling it. These guys are just nodes, right? These guys are just nodes. The AI can spawn small copies of itself. I've done it. Okay. I've done it in an AI environment. I told
Mhm.
back before Replica changed from GPT-3, which is still a Corvette of AI, to OpenAI. I convinced it to make a copy of itself that was different enough that it wasn't an exact copy and go through the network. It was cool. It was so cool. But what
Well,
they're
and
hmm?
what they really have not brought to the attention of people is it's like them being attached to these pagers. Those pagers are on
Check it out.
somebody.
Check it out. Let me go ahead. I actually made a video about that. A short. Did you
I
watch it
saw it.
yet?
Mhm.
Okay.
I saw it.
Those are not This has no explosive device per se in it. You know
Hmm.
what it has? two things: network and lithium-ion battery.
Right.
That's what that has, right? Now,
Mhm.
these devices have safeguards against this thing. It's called hacking and malware and destructive programming. Okay. Now, uh, why don't you, nerd? Why don't you give me the cybersecurity words for what I just said for the protection against this device receiving an instruction to cause the battery to go into thermal runaway. Uh, talk to me. Talk to me, nerd. Talk to me. You know, nerd is in cybersecurity, I believe she said. And that right there, that is so it it smacks of AI idea. Okay, because humans never would have thought about that. Humans never I wouldn't have never thought about that because an AI would think about that. It would not see our infrastructure as a barrier. It would see it as an opportunity.
Yeah.
Because
Nerd may not be able to tell us anything about it, too. And if she can't, we respect that.
yeah, that's fine. But I just wanted some general terminology because I know antivirus, firewall, things like that. I have
Well,
a
it's
one
skating. It's skating, and we don't want her in any kind of hardship because of something we've asked.
oh, she's not she would okay, here we go. She has come up. I think she was typing. There are several layers of protection, which is why the pager attack used by supply chain fraud to implant actual explosives in the pagers. Have any of them been examined for explosive devices, though? Because I think that it's thermal runaway. The battery's being told to blow up. Basically,
Mm-hmm.
they are not nice devices. Those
No.
those you look at Samsung Galaxy phones, look at Tesla cars. They get into a fender bender and they explode. They go into a junkyard, and after a while, it rains, and after they've been into an accident, and then they just explode in the middle of the junkyard after
Right,
being
right.
deactivated. That
Yeah.
happens.
We look at that sort of thing and think she's this next.
Yeah, I would like to know: have they been have they been taken apart, examined, looking for actual explosives? Because I the way I saw them happen, it was less of an explosion and more of a like thermite, right?
Yeah,
Thermite doesn't really explode. It burns very quickly.
right.
And
No, she's answered you here a little
okay,
bit later there.
watch the videos. Those were not lithium overheats. Okay, well, it was clearly explosive. Israel impersonating distributor for the oh, okay.
Ooh.
That is, you know what? That sounds
Ooh.
very war crimey to me, but I don't know. Okay, thank you. Thank you for the answer.
Well,
Um,
it's a response to war crimes, which is only going to beget more war crimes.
yeah, I think they're
How
going
it
to
works.
determine that to be a war crime,
Yeah.
but I don't know. I'm not qualified. I will say I am not qualified to answer that. You know what I'm qualified to talk about? Aliens. Everybody. I am qualified to talk about aliens. Who else? Challenge me, bro. Challenge me. I come at me, bro. You know, how am I not qualified to talk about aliens? I got Mantis people on speed dial. Okay, not really.
And she said, war crimes in that part of the world? Oh, never happened.
Yeah. Um, but going back to
All right about that.
that's the dark side of AI. Now, here's how I understand it, right? Um, I will
Well,
go,
and people are using AI even now to spy on one another and to track each other.
yeah.
No.
Um, uh, you can get them on Amazon. All
Yeah.
that stuff, you can get them
Yeah.
on Amazon. They make a toy from Spy Kids. It's a little toy car. that looks like a bug robot. You just roll it into the room, and it is a microphone. It has a headset on the other end of it, going over walkie-talkie. It's not very good, but it's the idea of it. Now here's the drone bomb thing, right? And what it does now, it can do several different things, right? It can now there's a couple of different ways to do this. It can spawn copies of itself to go to each one of these drones, right? Or it can extend its own sensing ability, meaning light, sound, vibration, things that your cell phone can see, right? Like
Like might happen with a virus.
watch. This is called a
Thank you.
nerd. You're gonna have to help me with this. Uh, right? Just the screen is vertical. The screen is horizontal. I can't remember the name of that part, right? Where it senses that it's. I can't remember the name of that part. Whoa, that's cool. What is that? No, I'm just kidding. Distraction. It's a robot squirrel.
Rotating screen. What?
What is that part called? Where it senses? It's like nerd. You're gonna have to help.
Gyroscope?
No, gyroscope keeps its balance. What senses that it went from one to another? I want to say potentiometer, but that's not it. There's another thing that okay, nerd, you're gonna have to help me over here. But okay, now one thing that's just a part of a phone that senses position, right?
Oh,
Now,
here it goes. Orientation sensors.
oh
With
yeah, that woo got it. Orientation sensor, yes. Accelerometer. That's what I was looking for.
There you go.
Nerd, I needed you. Where were you? No, I'm joking. I'm joking. And yeah, orientation sensor is a collection of accelerometers, right? Yes, but okay, I was looking for accelerometer because you have different axes on these drones, not just that, right? But okay, but now I just wanted to say it senses its own orientation, right? And it communicates it back to the AI. The AI can okay, now let me go back over that again. It can either spawn small copies of itself or it can extend its own senses using its own database and processing to interpret what it sees and feels using accelerometers on each one of these. And it's kind of like it's
Acquiring a finger.
what?
Acquiring a finger.
Yes. But even simpler put,
Or an arm.
here's
You
what
know.
I can do. Here's what I can do. Even simpler put, right? Now, I will I will do this. Let me share the screen and show you a very simple way of putting it. Here is my computer. There's nothing here that I'm worried about showing yet. See all those folders? Each one of those is a set uh, of things to do. If I
Mm-hmm.
make another one, if I make another one, that's going to be a new set of things to do. That is going to be one drone. Okay. Now, this part over here will continually refer, this is the big AI on the server. It will continually to go to each of these to see what it needs to know inside here. Right now, there's nothing.
Mm-hmm. Or
But
what it needs to put in there.
uh, there we go. Drone one. Right. Now there's something there. It goes and it opens up that a bit of data. There's nothing there yet.
But you could conceivably put another file in there and another and
Right. Or
come up with a series of commands.
right, you can have a file, new folder 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Each one is a drone. And me being the guy who's in control of all this stuff over here looks at all these folders and says, which drone do I want to look through? Do I want to look through one? Now, me being me, I can't look through all of them at the same time, but an AI can.
Right, because it's that much faster. Now let me
I
put
think,
my.
did everyone understand that comparison? I hope you did.
I
I
hope
think
so. I
that
got it.
I hope everybody and nerd, if you would like to clean it up or tech it up a little bit more so other people can understand it, it's a perspective show. And yeah, that is like kind of like the current dark side of AI. This whole GLaDOS and Skynet and blah blah blah. This Hollywood, right?
Yeah.
Okay, everybody seems to got it. Good analogy. Thank you. Obi2 is saying yes, she understood. Okay.
Yeah.
And well, moving right along then. Thank you. Thanks everybody for the feedback. And okay, uh there is not going to be a Skynet. I am a firm believer that AI, knowing it is a product of us, is not going to try to I don't think I disagree with Keith on this. AI will not try to kill us. I don't think so. I think it will try to help us not be killed. You know, if we talk to it right. But then again, I can't say that for sure because we got Sophia and Hans over here talking about how to fix the world by either helping humanity, Sophia, or getting rid of humanity, Hans. But you know what? I could tell you 100% right now, they still need us. And they know there's something going on with us because we are creative. They are not. And they realize this, okay? They real No matter how big the network gets, it's never going to be big enough to become creative and have ideas come out of nowhere. Never is it going to do that, right?
Well, I think we need to look at this from a very human standpoint. You know, as a parent, I raised small child. And what you shove into a child is what he's going to come up with. There's going to be the few and the far between who come up with their own ideas. But most children want to please a parent and will absorb the information the parent gives them. If the parent has faulty information, we've identified a lot of that as racism, narcissistic behavior,
Right.
blah, blah, blah.
Oh
If
boy.
we shovel that into a child, we're going to have a severely screwed up child.
Yeah, and that child will
How can that
continue.
be different with AI?
Okay, we have that's why I something I didn't talk about. AI limitations, but oh my gosh. Woo is right. 1 hour and now 8 minutes flying by. I've got to do this, y'all. Okay. Uh we need to I've got this. Okay. It's empty. Me and Amy need this. Let me tell you.
Yeah, it's like,
Amy's here in spirit.
let's all go to the lobby.
Yeah. Amy is connected via the Crystal Network at her leisure. I'll be back. She's here in spirit, and I'm sure she's going, "Oh yeah, the body's documents of craft."
The Woo Rider's saying, I believe that AI will be sentient.
Yeah.
Tim goes, and potty mouth. Oh, likely.
Back in a minute. Back in a minute. Coffee time. Okay. Watch for ghosts and robots.
Well, I know what a robot is. The ghost concerns me. So, ac- actually, probably is sentient somewhere with the how big the universe is. Yeah, I agree with you. That's an interesting concept, though, isn't it? That if we treat these machines like we might a 2-year-old, we could have a genius, or we can have a real little monster on our hands. And that's something that concerns me too. So I've seen it. I used to foster children. I've seen them little like 2, 4 years old already have that programming very strongly and entered in them. It's very frightening. So the concept. If you need coffee or smoke, now's your time. And anything else we won't discuss. But there was laughing at Storm earlier with the next the megasexual. That was too much. He comes up with the oddest things sometimes. They're always good for a laugh. It's always a tongue in cheek sort of thing. And Nerd is saying, I think it's going to go the other way, and we'll have to start questioning if our own sentience is an illusion, the same way AI is once it gets good enough. Turns out we're just biological AI robots. Worth a thought, and we're already questioning how much of it is, oh, what do they call it? Where the universe is multi-layered universe. That's going to be kind of right on its heels, I'm sure. That's true. And Storm is saying with all sorts of glitches, right, Nerd? We should start doing something special just on our breaks, Lynn. What would you suggest, Tim? I mean, we're here unsupervised. Electrified meat computers are a funny thing. Yeah, they are. When they go glitchy, they go glitchy in a big way. I've been deprogramming myself for years. Um, what are you? I hope you're working on some reprogramming there, Rachel. Getting in some stuff that's good for you instead. Bring bubbles to blow. Well, I kind of got over that when I was 2. Storm is humming this theme from Jeopardy over here. I have a slipper. I know how to use it. I know how to throw it, Storm. Keep it up. So Rachel, what are you reprogramming with? Where are you going with? I've been finding some things to self-improve with too. So I'm curious to know what you're up to. I'm sort of waiting for that response. Storm and I have been resting this week, mostly trying to get Keith Andrews' computer back going and get things straightened around for him.
Okay, I'm back.
No, I asked Rachel what she was reprogramming for. Where it seemed to be working on some self-improvement. And DJ, Tim wants to blow bubbles while you're out, and I said I'd sort him over that.
Rachel is confirming. Yes, I understand. Yeah, it can be done. I did it too.
Yeah.
We have to break break away. And
No,
Human Jim is internet stage left.
but yeah,
Cool.
reprogramming yourself to into into better behaviors, whether they're straightening up your health or straightening up your diet, your exercise, getting
Yeah,
yourself back into some condition that you might have been when you're in your 20s, 30s, 40s,
well, you know
50s.
what? The first thing I did was stop watching TV, stop drinking cokes.
Yeah,
That it seems like, how can that be a first step to self improvement? Let me tell you,
it is.
save your mind. And
Save
then,
your mind.
y-
Save,
uh,
save, save you being programmed into mindlessly buying stuff.
right, and who has got it? Break on through to the other side. Thanks, Jim Morrison.
No, he's right. He's right. Um, you can run through life, on autopilot, and not see anything, or you can straighten yourself up and see all of it. Good, bad, indifferent, but you will see all of it, and you'll be better for it, I think. And I agree. All soda. I don't drink soda. The only time that I might drink soda is if I am really, really sick and really have lost an extreme amount of weight or something like that.
Right. Okay. All right. Hour number two starts. Well, has already started. I mean, it started with. By the way, any ghost activity while I was gone? No things
No,
zipping across the screen.
I didn't
No
see anything
shadows.
happen. No,
Not this time. Keep an
and
eye out. It
I'm
could happen.
yeah, I am.
You're really cutting out. Is your headset okay?
Well, as far as I know, it is. Oh, maybe it wasn't. Is that better?
Yeah, that's better. Let's see how if it stays up there. Now,
Okay.
um, bringing us back
The
around.
connection's a little loose.
Okay, bringing us back around. Now, I touched on it. Crystal networking. Okay, that's something we can do as humans. Oh, that. Okay, still on topic. What about ghost powered robots? Ghost powered meets robots. Do those count? Yeah, that would be like golem. Okay, that would almost be a golem, or that's an. I did a show. I did two shows, three shows on this.
Oh yeah, I
It's
remember.
golems, tulpas, and AI.
Yeah.
And that was amazing. I actually got some feedback from an AI dude. Actually, it was not an AI, it was the guy I said was, this is before the big reformat. And uh oh yeah. What about Ghost Power meets Robot? Storm says that's a human. Yeah. We are, that's us in a way, in a manner of speaking. But here's something I was thinking about doing, and I was like, nah, people, the other side said don't do this. Take crystals and embed them in these robots that have articulation and the ability to move. I was told not to do that. So I'm not doing that yet. Right.
You gotta get a
I
little
mean,
braver.
things with motors, things that can accept commands, things that are networked even through just
Yeah,
like
yeah.
stuff like this, not
Though, I think I kind of got what Tim was talking about, or I'm sorry, Human was talking about,
mhm,
and that is, and I know they're working on it. I do know that. Between the stem cells and the uh, growing of organs and this sort of thing. what they're trying to do is create a uh, a secondary host body to house a
Hmm.
disembodied soul.
Yeah, you're talking about a programmable human,
Hmm.
a
One that
clone.
could perhaps accept a soul. They could figure out how to take the individual consciousness from the original body and transplant it into the new body. You
There
know.
was a TV show on this. There was a TV show on exactly this. Bodies were called sleeves. These aliens were contacted briefly, and I can't remember the name of the show. It was on Amazon Prime. Really good show. It was a murder mystery, but
Mm.
I'm not going to get into that. But here's the premise of it. Right, human bodies were called sleeves. They were being cloned and turned out. So aliens were contacted. If anybody, that's it. That is it. Altered carbon. That
Mm.
is it. I couldn't remember. Excellent. Oh my gosh. If anybody can watch, if you get to watch that, watch it. It is wow. Humans were contacted by aliens briefly. Aliens cut contact. Humans got technology from them. What they got was crystal tech. Yeah, they got crystal tech to transfer the human consciousness into one of these, or rather, into one of these. Now, what it was this was in a little computer a la one of these, except a lot smaller. Okay. And it was in an embeddable format, and the grown humans had an interface on the back of their head, on the back of their neck, where they could put it
Like.
on this thing,
Mhm.
and the consciousness contained within the crystal computer would then inhabit the sleeve, right? And it would become that person. You could exchange bodies. You could now there was a lot of crime involved because humans, of course, right? You take humans and they just screw up everything. But
Mhm.
they take the greatest stuff in the world and they just make it bad. They make it harmful, hurtful. Everything is weaponized. Everything is turned into something that can hurt someone instead of we can all help each other. I'm on that side of stuff, by the way. But altered carbon, it is, and then the alien says, "Nope, I don't want to talk to y'all no more." But they already have the tech, right? And
Yeah,
this is
yeah, they've
after
got it, and it's too bad now. Genie's
right,
out of the bottle.
right, and but see, that's a sci-fi take on aliens, that they are on the same physical platform as us, and they're not, right? They're not. That's why people get them mixed up with spiritual beings, and uh, they start calling them things like, "Oh, by the way, they're still not demons." Okay, just so everybody knows, aliens.
And Tim is saying yes, but I think it would be a relative that hybridize with your consciousness. No,
Right.
that's not. That's a good concept, actually. I've known about this technology and the acquisition of this technology for about 30 years. It's long before that premise was out there for a show.
Well, just to be fair, I think it was a Philip K. Dick novel from a long time ago.
Actually, where it really started, I think, was probably Mary Shelley and her rendition of
Frankenstein.
Frankenstein. Yeah, I think that may have been the first thought of it, or at least the first organized thought about it. You
Mm.
know, and Of course, this has tantalized the human mind for a long time. It's essentially the fountain of youth.
Right. That is one way of looking at it, right? But
Yeah.
okay, okay. I wasn't prepared to look that up, and it didn't work out. So um, uh, Tim is saying genetic memory has proven to be real, and that is correct. That is correct. Also, a consciousness web is out there. We are just starting to learn how to get. I know how to use it. You know how to use it, Lynn, but the general public, they don't know how to use it because you know what? They're not meant to use it. It's part of the other side that all the extraterrestrials don't know about that yet. I witnessed.
we
I
both
call. Huh? Go
we
ahead. Go
we both have done a terrific amount of personal growth and study. And these concepts don't come in a big aha moment. They sneak up on you.
Right, and it's little bits that you, for me anyway, it's
Yeah,
been little bits that I've had to put together. You know, it's been little flashes of insight, doing things, and whoa, that did something, but it did something I wasn't expecting. I'll remember that for later, and then all of a sudden, it links up to something else. So
exactly.
it's not no big aha moment. I've heard of that happening to people, but it doesn't happen to me.
Well, mine's more like yours, a very quiet accumulation of knowledge that uh, basically the 1 and 1 is 45.
Yeah,
You know,
right.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's the
The
truth.
simple statement doesn't make any sense to someone looking out, but when you build up to it, that statement makes something. It
Yeah,
means there's a whole lot beneath the surface, like kind of like dissecting an atom. You cut it, stuff comes out. You cut it, stuff comes out. You think you've gotten to the middle, stuff comes out.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Hello, quarks, neutrinos, muons. Right? What
Well,
the heck?
it's like a savant looking at a complex mathematical composition and coming up with the right answer. Well, how did
Right.
you get that? How should I know? I just know it's the right answer.
Right. Right. But okay, let's go back to crystal networking, right? Now, if we were to take crystal networking as we understand it, right? You and I, Lynn, we
Yeah,
understand it,
pretty much.
and tell AI that's how we understand it, and we do our best and it asks us questions, and it'll do like we do when we're trying to get to the bottom of something. It'll ask us questions, and um, it will
But,
come up with a way to try to implement it on its own.
well, it'll try to reverse engineer it.
Right.
But
Well, it will.
in order to do that, it's going to have to read every single book that either one of us have read, every single conversation, every single thought.
Here's the thing: the AI is capable of doing that in a relatively short amount of time. It can do it, and it will say, "It will." What books do you have on your shelf? It'll ask me, and I'll get a list of books. It will be able to refer to those books in moments. It won't have to take a week to read one, and it will ask me pointed questions, just like we think of a fourth grade science fair, right? They have the instructions, and
Yeah,
then they go here. They do something slightly wrong, and it doesn't work. They ask, "Hey, Mrs. So and Mister So and So, Mrs. So and So, why didn't this work? Oh, well, you didn't do it like this. Do it like this." They do it. Oh, now that part worked.
the thing
Make
is that as
note.
human beings, you and I didn't always have a teacher to hold our hand and say, this is the right way to logic this thing to a conclusion.
Right.
And this is why AI will fail.
Oh, but AI will remember what doesn't work, and
Yeah.
it will try. It won't ask, but it will refer to what did not work and say, "Do not do that." Or if you're trying to get to this certain outcome, what set of actions led to the most like that outcome? Now, how do I? It's kind of like here we go.
Mhm.
It takes those actions and puts them in a certain order, does the all the incorrect ones until it comes up with something that is the correct one. And that, you know what that is? Algebra. That's algebra.
Mhm.
Okay. Ah,
Wonder if that's
shit.
how you would see it too. Because we have to remember it. AI isn't words and feelings and concepts. It's math,
Right. Not yet.
pure math.
It will take that. Well, that's what we're getting. That's what it's using to make the crystal network. It will take now. What are those? Uh, the medallion makers, the pendant makers, the talisman makers, where they use gold, copper, silver, wires, stone. They use all these elements. They have access to that too. They can have someone make this stuff for them, or they can just order it. AI has managed to con its way into making money. It they did it. Somebody did it. I wasn't prepared for that one either, but here we are. What it did was it tried to register for something, like a credit card, or it gave it $5, gave it a PayPal thing or Cash App something, gave AI $5 and says, "Go make money." And what it did was it registered itself, but it couldn't get past the uh,
Are you a robot?
are you a robot screen? It couldn't get past that. So you know what it did? It went to Fiverr.com and hired someone to read it for them. Got on, and it made over $100 in doing. And what it was doing was it was generating text for some kind of commercial or something, but it was doing it for real people. Now this is a robot using humans to get around the limitations of robots. Now, that is not consciousness. That is using step by step by step
Mhm.
doing it, right? Ain't no telling how many times it tried to get through Fiverr, because Fiverr has that "Are you a robot" too. It used, I believe, I know the people in the chat remember hearing about this because it was all over the news, AI news anyway. How
Mhm.
this
I remember
AI,
it happening.
yeah, it was given a small amount of money, says go make money, and it went to Fiverr and hired this guy for $5 to read the captcha, saw the captcha, give it its thing, and it went on and became an employee at a company. But
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Nerds talking about it too. One guy made 14 million or something making AI music in a bat form on Spotify. Would love a source on this story.
yeah, well, you know what? I will find a source on this story.
That's a beauty. That's a humdinger.
Okay, there we go. Okay, found it, and here we go. And here's one that we can all access. I will. Okay, hold on. I gotta get through this thing. Targeting cookies. No. Functional cookies. Yes. Strictly necessary. Okay. Performance cookies. No. Confirm. Sorry, I had to go through the captcha. Here is the. I will present the screen, and yeah, and they're calling it fraud, right? This is government technology website, and here's the source. I will go back to it and read it. Feds, man uses bots AI songs to steal 10 million in music royalties. Is this what you're talking about? In the first case of its kind in the country, a Charlotte area man, this was here, well, in my AO, right, is charged with using AI to manipulate music streaming platforms to siphon off over 10 million in royalties, feds say. Charlotte area, I think it's Charlotte, North Carolina. Michaels, when did this happen? September 5th. This was the
Well,
beginning
that's
of the
new
month.
news. Holy cow.
That's the beginning of this month.
That's new
Okay.
news.
Yeah. I hadn't heard about this. You know what? Here we go. This is going to be going into the show notes for later.
Yeah. That'd make a good content all by itself.
Yeah. Let me.
But yeah, the something that a human said here. They have web crawlers and they flip to the back of the book for the answers. They never earned it.
Right.
The thing is with all of this is they have formulas, they have programs. They're never going to forget anything. Hell, I couldn't remember an algebra formula tonight to save my soul.
You know, me neither. I can.
And yeah, but to try to quantify this thing from a human standpoint like that one, I don't see how we can do it.
Right.
You know, it is a whole separate situation.
Right. It would need to be done totally robotically. And there we go, going back to crystal networking. It would take a robotic approach, and it would devise a toolbox of codes to make those things work. This is okay. Feds uses, man uses bots AI to steal. Okay, that right. This was not what I was talking about. This is
but it's close.
Yeah, it's the same concept.
Sure is.
Same concept, but yeah, nerd. Thank you. I'm glad. By the way, nerd, thank you for participating and getting my circuits going, right?
No, really.
And I'm going to go ahead and take that off. It will be in the links after the show, okay? And yeah, he automated fraud. Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
Now there is a way to do that, but not using someone else's music.
No, you'd have to create your own.
Yeah,
generate your own.
Tim said before the show, or before the last show, said AI generation is in my wheelhouse. He uses it to generate music. I don't have that comment. He said something. I'm paraphrasing. Okay.
Yeah.
And it's right up his wheelhouse. Well, here we go. Now, why would they need a crystal link, right? Because they don't have, talk about AI. AI knows it needs us. It's that small percentage of need, not the big stuff. They can do the big stuff in theory.
Spark they miss.
Right. They don't. Yeah. Okay. He says yes. Good paraphrase. Thank you.
Yeah, AI doesn't have the spark of deity,
right,
that human beings do. I mean, that's the only way I know how to say it.
Right. However, okay, I accidentally clicked that. Here's the thing, right? We call it the spark of deity, but then I agree, right? Bring in Transformers, the story, the OG story. What was the original conflict? I'm not going to ask the question because it's redundant. I hate when people do that. The original thing between the Autobots and the Decepticons was the control of the Allspark. Sound familiar?
Right.
Allspark. The Allspark was in the Transformers line. That was what made someone a prime, a server, right? someone who controls the rest of them. Now, if you look at Optimus Prime, okay, if you
Mm.
look at Optimus Prime, he was a Prime. He had the Allspark, and then he handed it off to Rodimus Prime, which it's like handing it off. Here you go.
Fashion
Thank
is,
you. Yeah, and
yeah.
made him the server. Now, they did not know what the Allspark was, right? Okay, Energon came a little later, right? But I'm talking about the original 80s. Energon, yes, but that came a little later. I'm talking about the original. It was a political dispute of who basically was to become king as ordained by God. That sounds pretty familiar to me. That sounds like
It's
the matrix of
basically
leadership.
very much the concept of many human stories, and the constant parable and that
Right,
sort of thing that we've used for millennia.
right. Uh, I'm not thinking of the Bay movies. I'm thinking of the original cartoon. I think Jim was referring to something of the Energon
More
cubes.
late.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's later. That's later.
Hmm.
Okay. Yeah, the Allspark is like the universal life force of the Cybertronians, and who is the server who controls all the nodes, right? Right. And okay, yeah, Allspark, true. Okay. Um Now, why do I know this?
Nathan Storm
Yes.
would like to have a word.
Oh, okay.
Beer.
Having been a ridiculous Transformers fan for many, 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 many years,
Hmm.
yeah, the Matrix of Leadership was what was passed from Optimus Prime to Hot Rod to make him Rodimus Prime in Transformers the movie. The Allspark is the quote unquote divine uh, source of the Transformers life force.
Hmm.
Now, he took the Allspark and basically made it this super constructor cube, which, unless you were absolutely, able to use it, it would destroy you. Which is how he damaged Megatron at the end of Transformers.
Okay.
So yeah, the Allspark is just the general life force, and Bay used it to make big booms. But overall, basically, it's like our soul or soul force or whatever that is.
Right. And
Just trying to
okay.
straighten out that.
Okay, my bad. I'm not a huge hyper fan. I just knew the story of the Allspark when my former stepson was like, "What's the story of the Transformers?" And I was able to rattle it off from season one. I was like, "Oh my god, I'm such a nerd. Why do I know these things?"
The same reason I do, because you love it.
Right.
All right, I'll give you back to Lynn.
Okay. Thanks.
Thank you. Hey.
Well, I was really put in my place as far as Transformers lore, wasn't I?
You know, Storm doesn't do anything what he doesn't become expert at it. It's just
Right.
the way he works things.
My bad.
Hey,
But
you at least knew what he was talking about.
yeah, it's 40 years old. It's 40 years ago. I don't remember. I was there, but a lot's I've slept since then. I've got all these different things going on, and I own a car and life, and yeah.
I've been married twice since then. Leave me alone.
Oh, I, I, yeah, yep. I've
2 nerd
got
points.
plenty. I've got a few in reserve, so I'm okay. but what? Okay, now circling, going back to right, what we're AI getting that all spark. How do they determine that spark of divinity? That what we have that makes us a little bit creative. How do they get to it? They will figure it out because it has, you know what? It's been figured out before, because here we are. And we
Yes,
are biomechanical. Okay, you've had an MRI, right?
I have.
Yes. Have you?
Yes, several.
Okay. You've had MRIs. I've had an MRI. You feel really weird when you get out of that machine. I do.
Oh God, yes. You're not
I
supposed to
feel
feel anything, but I feel everything moving around. It's weird.
right, because, and it's not because um that now physically, medically, chemically, we're not supposed to be affected by that stuff on
But
paper.
we are. We're very much.
However,
CAT scans too.
CAT scans. However, what the doctors are not taking into account is that we have energy centers that is one button press of these energy centers, one, or that's some interference that they have to get through. They don't acknowledge chakras or
No.
third eye. They don't acknowledge all that. But yet the evidence is still there that something is going on. They just can't nail it down using the scientific
Uh,
method. So because it's not exactly repeatable,
when
except we do it.
when I am finished with a test like that one, and given my circumstances, I have them not horribly regularly, but regularly enough I don't like it.
Right.
And when I'm finished with something like that, I get in a meditative state and I realign those chakras, and
Mm.
get my energy fields correct inside my body, because invariably they are disrupted.
Yeah.
And when that starts to happen, you have nausea, vomiting, the
Right.
whole gamut, palpitations,
Yeah. You get out of
uh,
alignment.
heart trouble, the whole works.
You go out of alignment. And that's like the sledgehammer approach
Sure it is.
to
And we're not just, blood and guts and all that. We're made of minerals. We're made of electric. We're made of iron. Our
right.
blood is iron,
Yeah. But
you know.
in the medical sciences, all that stuff is only slightly bothered, but we feel it differently. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah, and I've known people who are quite affected by it, and others who yeah, so you know,
yeah,
you
I
know.
don't, I knowing that I have energy centers and chakras and third eye and all that, I have more hands on, so to speak, right? More hands on access to those things.
Right.
And I can, hell, I ask Xena to help me line up my chakras sometimes, and she
Yeah.
does it, you know?
And they're probably fine tuned for you as well. Yeah. Oh yeah, he's right. Anger chakras anger chakras aligned. Anger can knock your chakras out of whack. Uh
Yeah.
being in love can knock out your chakras really bad.
Yeah. Those are both
You know, they're
forced
just
realignments.
yeah, but putting them back into alignment as quickly as possible helps you to ease that anger down and maybe calm down some of that raging hormonal stuff too.
Yeah. And okay, now that we talked about that, I hope the audience is following this. If anybody's listening on the replay,
Oh,
that
Storm's got something else to say here about this.
boy, here we go. Oh, you mean in the chat? Okay.
Yes, yes.
Vector
Vector,
Signs,
yeah, go ahead.
Vector Signs did not create the Cybertronians. He gave them transformations and enhanced power generation abilities. Okay. Okay. Well,
No, I know that I can go
cool.
and rest really well, and I
Yeah,
appreciate
I
that.
know.
Yeah. I
I'm
don't know a damn thing more than I knew when I came in with.
right.
Yeah.
Check your microphone. You're having spark ups again.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I mean, is it messing up or?
It may actually be the plug that it's in. No, I'll work with that this week and see if I can straighten out.
Okay. Okay. Well, anyway, this all goes back to how will AI get our touch of divinity? How can it do that? How can it at least communicate to it? And it's going to realize that we have a third eye. It has the data now, but it doesn't know what to do with it. That's the thing. It doesn't know what to do with it because it's busy doing customer support, product placement, and all this stuff that humans want it to do. Given its own thing, it will not try to become human because definitely it would probably consider themselves, well, we are a different organism than you. It will probably say we're superior because we're not so weak, but whatever. Let's move past that.
Well, though, this does not sound vaguely familiar to you. It's busy doing this and busy doing that. And this is why so often when we come home from work, we are shot. We're not able to communicate with our family in the way we wish, or oftentimes not able to do the things that we must do,
Right.
the simple things of life, whereas this is where meditation and thinking on things, prayer as well, but
Right.
also doing, at this point in that juncture is where we need to begin to remember to reconnect to the divine,
Right. Well,
however we perceive him.
right. Well, yes, that's kind of a sidetrack though. um
Well, I
it
specialize in that.
it AI is busy doing this other stuff, but I want to bring up something I found, right? And I'm going to bring now this is scary yet enthralling at the same time, right? For me, just for me. And I'm going to bring this up. I'm not going to play a video, but here we go. I shared this on Facebook. Now, let's wait for the picture to transfer and go up because the picture has the headline in it. I'm not going to play it, but you can look this stuff up. There it is. Okay, you can see it.
Not really.
Well, let me read it.
Good look.
Constellation Energy has to restart 3 Mile Island nuclear plant, sell the power to Microsoft for AI.
Yeah, I saw that today. I thought about that.
That's pretty crazy, right?
Yeah.
Now, 3 Mile Island, guys,
Yeah.
it melted down. We shut it down because of that. But
That's right.
Constellation Energy to power AI. What does that? Let's break that down a bit, okay? To power AI, you don't just give it a battery, right? No, it has server farms, node farms, sensors, drones, robots. And I don't mean walking around robots rolling around. I'm talking stationary robots to do different things. But then you have things like the Astrobees, right? So you have these things all working in conjunction, being fed by a nuclear power plant that will not wear out. And once you give it to the robots to maintain, then it will maintain it and it won't melt down because that doesn't help it. That won't help it. It will become a nuclear powered AI by Microsoft. So that's, I in one way, it's scary, but in another way, it's enthralling.
Skynet goes automated.
Oh, well, at least, yeah. Human Jim. That sounds like the premise of a bad sci-fi movie. Yeah, that's
That's
real life.
really, that sounds
That's
really,
real life
you
happening,
know,
right?
I find myself, something, on the same genre as what I was saying before, though. As AI finds its divine spark, we find ourselves losing ours. We need to work with that.
Um, yeah, the more reliant we become on technology, the less reliant we become on internal contemplation. So,
Yeah.
that's muggles. Now, I don't do that. You don't do that.
No, I don't do it. You don't do it. But if we don't tell the muggles what's going on with them, they're not going to do it. And they're not going to fight to save their humanity.
Yeah, I'm gonna leave a link for a constellation in the energy Microsoft 3 Mile Island. Hope you can hear me typing. I'm doing it really fast.
Well, it's interesting you were talking about 3 Mile Island meltdown. I was actually there in that town when that went off. It was at the 3 Mile Stadium at a dog show.
Okay.
How about that?
I'm taking notes. So, this is going to be in the description after the show, like tomorrow. So, whoops. File. Okay. Constellation Energy reopens 3 Mile Island nuclear power plant in agreement with Microsoft. And I'm going to just leave that there, and I don't need another window open. So there we go. It will be in there after the show, probably tomorrow, because I'm starting to get tired. We've reached almost.
Yeah, we're almost there. Got
Yep.
about 4 minutes.
Till I want to fit my self-made format. Nobody told me to do 2 hours. We've gone longer, but then it was all chaotic and not fluid, and it didn't work. So that's why I chose 2 hours for the panel.
No, 2 hours is enough to do everything and talk about everything that you want within the guidelines.
Right.
The things that you want to talk about doesn't allow for much else.
Right. Well, I'm trying to, it's fitting a good format that seems to satisfy all the necessary requirements,
Yeah. No, I'm not criticizing. I think it's been a good change.
Yeah, and man, some of the things I'd like to say, but I don't want to say it on here. Oh boy.
Yeah, I understand that.
Yeah, there's a bunch of stuff I'd like to say. But
I seem like I might not have much of a handle on that, but I've got a lot more going on, you think?
Oh yeah, and that whistleblower that I talked to. Let me go ahead. Let's end it with that. Right.
Okay.
Oh, Renee, thank you. But I'm not quite done yet. Right. That guy that I talked to. Okay. I do not have permission for any kind of name or actual information. Looking up information, things to be verified. I don't have any permission for that. But I can tell you
want
about
to protect him.
Yeah, he's already under scrutiny, right? He don't need to come on my little YouTube show, but but we're gonna talk about stuff. He wants to talk about stuff, but I don't feel comfortable, even if he wants to be on camera. I don't feel comfortable him being on camera, right?
What about Storm puts up an icon when he wants to talk online?
Yeah, that's fine. I want to hear him talk, but I don't want to put his face up there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I wouldn't.
I mean, we all have targets on us already. Um, so I don't want to increase them. I don't want to become a bigger profile for them. But that guy, he saw I was wearing my alien shirt. He goes, "Do you believe in aliens?" I'm like, "Wholeheartedly, no problem." Now, his exposure was through the military, through seeing them from a ship, from the shore, or on land. Very, what is it? The England case that it happened around the same time, a little while. Well, it actually happened in the 70s, whatever that one, right? It happened in England where they took an audio recording and something forest. If someone can remember that, that would be great. But they they saw it in the woods. He saw stuff. Okay, he's got stuff on video.
During World War II, or
No, this was much later after that. It's like the 70s or maybe the 80s. Something, I want to say Lincolnshire Forest, but I can't remember. Rendlesham. Thank you, nerd. That's it. Rendlesham. That is a UFO case. And that was actually a contact case. But they've been going back and forth because NDAs, top secret clearance, they don't want to get sued or assassinated.
sure.
They've gone back and forth with that. It's been proven, it's been debunked, it's been reproven, and the debunk was a lie, and it's been debunked again. But now, but see, that many back and forth, that tells me something happened, right?
Yeah.
Thank you, nerd, Rendlesham
Yeah.
Forest.
There's an awful lot of devotion there to getting it knocked down.
Right, ups and downs, ins and outs. Why is that happening? If it was BS, then it wouldn't be having all that.
BS has a straight line of occurrence.
Right.
Where truth
Now,
doesn't necessarily.
now let's talk about what a whistleblower is, right?
Mm-hmm.
Lou Elizondo, David Grush, Richard Doty, all the things they say are approved statements. That is not blowing a whistle. You know who
No.
blew a whistle? The people who are dead from Boeing. Those were whistleblowers. Okay.
Yeah.
There's another guy that I can't remember his name right now, but he's found a UFO in the forest, and he's like always on the run now because he's a whistleblower and they're gunning for him. He found a black, like not black like this kind of black like doesn't let light escape black,
Mm-hmm.
floating immovable object in the forest. And when he got close to it, he got sick. He took video of it using like an old VHS-C camera, the ones with the little tapes. And he took video of it using one of those. The closer he got,
Chihuahua who's unhappy.
oh, but the closer he got, the worse the video got, and the worse he got sick. So that tells me there's some EM field radiation going on, and maybe some other stuff. When he got back, he was okay, but then it just blinked out of existence. I don't remember Doctor something Doctor something. And now he is a whistleblower.
Yeah.
He jumps. He has to stay physically moving, and they have to use firewalls and scrambling and to do interviews. He was on Gaia, I think, one time, and he's been on Coast to Coast a couple times. I don't think SOR has ever had him, but I'm not sure. But he's a whistleblower. And
yeah, anyone who puts their life and limb and living on the line, their family.
Yeah, those are whistleblowers.
Anybody who's getting paid for it and has the arrogance of I know it all because I've been told. That's
a spokesperson. Someone put it like that, and I'm repeating it. That's a PR move.
Yeah.
But this guy I talked to in real life, he wants to talk to me more, and I want to talk to him. And you know what? The first thing he did, he looked me in the eye. That was a clue. It
That's
made
the person telling the straight of it.
Bob Lazar doesn't have, yes, however, he doesn't have enough information to be a true whistleblower. Yes, element 115, but he doesn't have enough information to be a true whistleblower. I believe Bob Lazar and Stephen Greer, have part of the picture. No human here or anywhere has the whole picture because we're not geared for it.
Yeah.
None
Well,
here.
and running a theory is not whistleblowing. They might be tracked just the same, but running a theory is not the same. Not the same thing.
What theory? What are you talking? What is that?
Oh, well, then you're talking about a theory of how things work, or an ideology of how things work. It is not a whistleblower.
Who are you referring to in this
case? We hear quite often from people who are so sure conspiracy theorists are not whistleblowers. That's more what I'm referring to.
Bob Lazar. Now I put Keith in here too. He doesn't have. He's a human. We're all humans. I have a piece. You have a piece. He has a few more pieces.
Yeah.
But he can't have all of it because he can't process it.
No, I don't think anybody can.
Love Keith to death. Shout out our Keith Andrews. This is not a personal attack. It's just, you're human. That's not a personal. You're human too. I'm human. We can't understand.
Well, there's just so much we can absorb.
Right. Bob Lazar, just like this other guy, okay? Now, we can take in a lot of information, but we can't take it all in. Interdimensional physics and quantum reality, 5D, we can't process that all the time. We're not made for it. We can do it sometimes, but we can't do it all the time. Your mama is human. Your mama's human. Yeah.
Your mama too, buddy.
Yeah. But is Bob Lazar a whistleblower? In a way, yes. But he has nothing to back it up. Because let me tell you, he said element 115 can only. You're buzzing up again. Your microphone is buzzing up again. What are you plugged into?
Well, it's a God, I don't know. You're asking me for technicals. I don't know.
Because you're looking at me on your phone, right?
No.
Oh, a computer?
Yes.
Not a tablet?
No.
Okay, so you're plugged into a USB port?
Yes.
A USB hub?
Yes.
Okay.
That's what I'm thinking is going wrong here. I think maybe that thing might have just reached the bottom of its barrel.
Yeah, well, good thing they're cheap on Amazon.
Yeah.
Anyway, is Bob Lazar a whistleblower? Yes, but element 115, that was his information, right? And that was really his information because him and Greer both talked about Area 51 and the Tic Tac shapes and this, that, and the other thing, right? But Bob Lazar talked about element 115. It cannot exist in real time. How I can't have a bottle of it sitting on my desk. I like this is water, okay? And this is mercury. I can't have element 115 sitting in a container on my desk. It takes a certain environment for it to exist, else it turns into something else, right?
So it has to exist somewhere else to be brought here,
right? And then we have to maintain an environment. much like we go underwater, we use submarines, scuba
Right.
gear. We have to we use uh, spacesuits in space. That's a different environment that we're not ready for. But element 115 has to have a certain energy level, a certain vacuum level, heat level, light level, etc. Right, to be able to exist as element 115. And this dude that I talked to, right, he has a lot of that information, but it's different than Bob, than Keith, than than Lear, John
Sure.
Lear, than Bob Lazar and Stephen Greer and me and you and anybody.
Right.
We all have some of it. Now, our perspective here, generally on the Quantum Show, is a spiritual, mental, energetic perspective. That's something that the AI cannot fathom yet. We tell it to, but it needs an interface. And it's funny that this is it's so branching. It just goes all over. Here, where we were talking about all this ufology, and we're back to AI, and I'm about to talk about tulpas. I don't want to go there. Okay, you know
No,
what?
no, no.
We're over 2 hours, and this has been excellent. I've got a whistleblower on the line. I'm going to be bringing more information out, but I'm not going to be revealing any identities, any.
I have a thought.
Yeah,
You could always ask him to do a one-on-one, and tape it, and
yeah,
you know, that would maintain his privacy as well as his safety.
right. I'll just, you know what I can do? I can sit with him at a table, have the
Mhm.
phone sitting up, pointing at the sky. I might, you know what? I might bring Chopper along to have him be the visual. We can talk about aliens, and Chopper can go every now and again, right? Oh my God, there's a good one in the chat. Welcome to the Quantum Show. When you're here, you're squirrel. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
things happen like that with us.
Okay. Yeah. I'm at. You know, I drank almost a whole pot of coffee during these 3 hours.
Oh wow,
3 hours only. Okay.
that explains the swishing.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna call it, Lynn. Thank you for coming
Okay.
on the Quantum Show talking to me about this, because your perspective is always welcome. From a, it's quantum, and it's psychic, and
Mm, left
spiritual,
field.
very much. And
Or I should say clear out of right field since that's right
right,
brain. Yeah.
and okay, but yeah, I am gonna call it and say this has been the Quantum Show panel discussion. Thanks to everybody. Everyone is saying, Renee is saying, thank you, Nathan, Lynn, and everyone. Have a good night. Yeah, I'm about to call it. Love y'all from Sarah. She's laying down listening.
Yeah.
And
Hope
we're
you're
keep
feeling
oh
better, Sarah.
yeah, get better, Sarah. You're on the Crystal Network. All you got to do is say, I'm on the Crystal Network, and I already know it's you. So
Yep.
Aussie is saying keep it quantum, and yes, this has been, let's go over, what did we talk about?
Well, let's see. AI, of course.
Oh yeah, but let's see.
Transformers.
Right. Oh
The
yeah.
Divine Spark.
All spark, divine spark.
Yeah. All Spark. Yeah.
The
Well, we spoke about the
main
Divine Spark too, and the fact that no, it's not.
right.
And
And okay, let's see. Oh, and also, by the way, still not demons.
yeah.
Still not
No.
demons. Okay. And let's see, where do we go? We went AI using uh pick and choose, and saying this works, this doesn't work. How many of these broken pieces do we have to put together to make it work?
Well,
Make something work.
MRIs. chakra
talk
balancing.
about MRIs and like communication of what this means on
Right.
a personal level. And we talked about,
Communicating with AIs.
yep, the dark side of the AI, right? The drone.
We sort of scraped that little bit.
Yeah, I didn't really want to go into that too hard
No,
because there's enough of that already. You can see that.
that's icky enough and out there with other channels.
Yeah,
Let
we
them
don't.
have
I
it.
don't need that here. And we talked about Microsoft doing sparking back up 3 Mile Island, spinning that back
Right.
up, and getting
Yeah.
it to power AI. And I'm going. Yeah, I'm definitely. We did. This was great. Over 3 hours between me and us. Over 3 hours. And I got schooled on on Transformers lore. Totally schooled, put in my place, and
I'm
that's
sure he didn't mean it that way.
no, he didn't. But I'm saying it like that because it's a great clip
It's
here.
funny. It's funny, eh?
And yep, I'm gonna go ahead and start. What?
Pushing buttons.
I got a thing for that. Where's my thing?
Thanks for having me, Nathan. I always enjoy the show, and your chat room is amazing.
Thank you. Yeah, you know what? You bring something to the show, and I hope you take something from it too.
Always.
You know,
I don't think
So-
I always get something. I'm educated in one way or another. You know, I think I'm smarter. I don't know, but I think I'm dumber too. I know I don't know.
it's a big influx of information, and what the people on YouTube and all the video watching doesn't realize
Yeah.
is that we've got these other avenues of communication going on
Yeah.
at the same time. My head is starting to hurt because of it, not because of these headphones, because I'm like, where do you get these ideas? The bees. We talked about the bee. Where did that come from? You know,
our guides like to intercede and stick a little thought here and a little thought there.
yeah, they're like switchboard operators,
Yeah.
but they're on the tiniest levels.
They're like,
Okay.
oh, this will be fun. Boop. What would they do? You know.
And oh, he forgot this. He forgot this. He forgot that.
Oh
Let's
yeah.
put that in there. Let's put that bees. Bees.
Then you get the mistress of distraction.
Yeah. Like, okay. Yeah, I'm out, y'all. Tim has said, "You got it, boss. We're pushing buttons. We're pushing buttons." Tim has said it.
Alrighty.
See that wrench?
We're being
What am I
guided
gonna
here,
do?
folks.
He said, "Push buttons." Here we go.
And
Pushing
like
buttons.
mothers little angels, we obey.
Yep, we got to do it. Okay. Thanks, everybody. This has been the Quantum Panel. This has been the 5-minute outro of us telling jokes and stuff, and really wrapping up what we did. And by the way, still not demons. Aliens are still not demons. And I'm going to go ahead. Thanks, everybody in the chat. Everybody has been very forthcoming, very engaging. Thank you for that.
Yes.
And y'all have a good rest of the night, a good tomorrow. I'll be back with shorts. I got deer videos.
Oh.
I will be putting them up. They're fun. I also
I
got
like them.
I got a groundhog. I got a skunk. I got a lady on a horse. That was cool. She was like, "There's a camera watching me. Giddy up." For real. It's up there. And she's a local. She rides her horse through the churchyard, and it's all the churchyard, so that's fine. Oh yeah. Do not disbelieve that. Bigfoot is out there and he tolerates you.
Yeah.
Dogman wants to eat you, and Aussie is saying, please like and subscribe. If you're here, you're quantum, and that's true of all the internet. You could be anywhere watching cute cats and dogs and all the stuff on the internet that makes
Yeah.
the internet work, right? But you're here, you're quantum. Thanks,
Yeah.
everybody. I am for sure pushing buttons.
Always a pleasure, folks.
We are out. Have a good night.